Welcome back to Arubakes. I'm Aru and today we're making a creamy seafood pie. We're using a mix of fish, prawns and cuttlefish or calamari that we are cooking up in a creamy sauce, topping with some mashed potatoes and baking until it's golden. This seafood pie is inspired by the chicken pot pie I made recently with a few tweaks that make it a very different dish. So let's get straight into it. Start off by boiling the potatoes to make the mash. First, wash the potatoes well and then peel it. Give the peeled potatoes a quick wash to get rid of any leftover grime. Chop it up into chunks, roughly all the same size so that it all boils at the same time. Put the potatoes into a large pot and top it with water to cover the potatoes by about an inch or so. Salt it generously and get it boiling until the potatoes are soft. While the potatoes are boiling, prep the rest of the ingredients. Finally, chop up an onion and some garlic and then set this aside. For the fish, I'm using some salmon because that's what I had at home, but you can use most fish, maybe some sear or even some tuna or barramundi for this. Wash the fish, pat it dry using some kitchen towel, and then take the skin off from the fish and cut it up into chunks. Then cut the cuttlefish or calamari up into roughly 1-inch size strips. And finally, take the shells, including the tails, off the prawns and then devein them. I'm using medium-sized prawns, so I'm cutting them in half. These are all frozen seafood out of a packet from the supermarket that I'm using. Since it's being cooked up in cream and then baked, you don't really need to get the fresh unfrozen ones. Check on the potatoes to see if they're soft. If not, let it boil just a little while longer. In a large pan, heat up a knob of butter along with a glug of olive oil. While that's heating up, let's give the seafood a quick seasoning. Sprinkle a generous pinch of salt and a little bit of turmeric powder on top and then rub this into the seafood. And then add the fish into the heated pan and let it brown on one side just for a few minutes. Then carefully turn each piece of fish to brown the other side. Then add in the cuttlefish and give it a quick stir and let it cook for just a few minutes again. And finally, go in with the prawn and stir this in as well. I'm adding a pinch of chili flakes just to bring in some heat. I like the way the heat from the chili cuts through that creaminess of the sauce. But now if you are serving this up to little kids, maybe skip the chili flakes. Cook the seafood for like 2 to 3 minutes until the prawns just about start to turn pink, and then immediately take the partially cooked seafood out of the pan. We don't want to cook this through just yet. It will finish cooking in the oven. If we fully cook the seafood at this point, it will overcook when we are baking the pie. Put the finely chopped onion and garlic into the same pot. Season it with a pinch of salt and maybe just a little bit more chili flakes, and then stir so that it picks up any bits of seafood that's stuck to the pan. Once the onion and garlic has softened, then go in with the cooking cream. First add about half the cream and stir it in just to stop the onion and the garlic from burning. And then add in the rest of the cream and season it with salt, pepper, maybe just a little bit more chili flakes and some parsley. I'm using dried parsley because I didn't have any fresh parsley at home. But if you have the fresh, then just add that in right at the end instead of adding your dried parsley now. Stir, taste and adjust for seasoning at this point. Put the seafood back into the cream sauce, add in some green peas and then stir to coat everything in the cream. Don't cook this for more than just a few minutes. And then give it a final taste and adjust for salt. Finish the seafood filling off with the juice of half a lemon and your creamy seafood filling is ready. This takes all of 15 to 20 minutes, you guys. Basically, the time it takes for the potatoes to boil. By the time the seafood is ready, your potatoes should be nice and soft. Strain out the water and then mash the potatoes. I'm using this cool new potato ricer that I picked up, but a classic masher or even a fork would do just fine. Do this like you're making a normal mashed potatoes. Add in a knob of butter, a little bit of milk, season this with some salt and pepper just like you would a regular mash. And then in addition, just go in with 1 egg to help bind everything as it bakes. Mix everything through and then add a little bit of parsley just to tie the herbs in the filling to the topping. You should have a silky, smooth, creamy mash like this. Now that your filling is ready and your mash is done, it's time to assemble. Take a nice oven-proof dish. Now assemble the seafood pie by spooning the seafood filling into the oven-proof dish. Spread it out to cover the entire dish and then pile on that mash on top. Spread the mash out to cover the whole dish and then use a fork to make some indents so that you have little crispy edges as it bakes. This is completely optional, but grate a little bit of Parmesan over the mash and then bake this in a preheated oven for about 30 to 35 minutes until you have a golden top. And that is how I made this delicious creamy seafood pie. It packs a nice punch because you get a nice bit of heat from those chili flakes, and it works so well to cut through the creaminess and the richness of that sauce. This is an easy, quick dinner that will impress everyone. Do try this out at home. And if you like this one, don't forget to check out my previous recipe for chicken pot pie and for shepherd's pie. In fact, just hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of them. See you in the next one. Bye!